Peace. Islam. Sheekamauga Alamassee-El. Coming at y'all live. Deep down. Alamassee Arabian country. Coming at y'all live from the Alibamu district. So-called Selma, so-called Alabama. And coming at y'all live from the Edmund Pettus Bridge, the legendary historic Edmund Pettus Bridge. Where the Bloody Sunday so-called incident took place, I believe 1965, in the so-called civil rights movement. We had a lot of politicians who shall remain nameless. They use this incident for political clout for the rest of their careers. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, most of them didn't really do anything for the Mississippian community, and that's very ironic. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it's beautiful. Alabama, so-called Alibamu River. This bridge is over the Alibamu River, and the so-called Alibamu River. That's part of the old highway system. Because I told you, we built a lot of our towns on these rivers. Because the rivers were the old highways, you know what I'm saying? Just like the roads pass through these towns now. It was the rivers back in the day, you know what I mean? So the main towns, most of the big old Mississippian towns are built on rivers. That's how we used to ride through these places. And don't get it messed up. They like to talk about the steamboats and steamships and all that coming down these rivers. That's old American technology. They like to talk about it like that was old antebellum slave South, and they had some steamboats. Man, that's old Muslim Moorish technology, man. Steamboats, steam powered everything. That's how we used to get down these rivers. But anyway, we're gonna do the knowledge to Selma because Selma has been painted a certain type of way in the last, really ever since the 60s. They want you to associate so-called Selma with the whole civil rights demonstration and people getting their butts kicked on this bridge, marching and praying instead of really fighting. You know what I mean? So let's do the knowledge to Selma. Now they'll tell you that again. Selma is in the old Alibamu turf, part of the old Mekasuki Confederacy, part of the old Muslim Moorish Barbary Confederacy of the South. So one thing they say about Selma, if you do the knowledge, you do the research, they'll tell you that when the first settlers got here, the so-called Anglo settlers, they called the town is called Selma now. They called it Moor's Bluff. You know what I'm saying? Moor's Bluff. For all you Moor haters out there, you know what I'm saying? Still talking about there wasn't no Moors in America. Why would they come to this town and call it Moor's Bluff? Because again, it's built on the bluff of the Alibamu River. Look at these buildings. Look at this, man. You know what I'm saying? They want you to think about Selma talking about some getting your butt kicked on the bridge, but they don't want to talk about the magnificent Moorish architecture. This is how your ancestors got down. They literally building grand architecture on the side of bluffs of rivers. You know what I'm saying? Who does that now? You know what I'm saying? This is how dope your ancestors were. This is when you think of places like Selma, this is what you should think of. Not somebody running across the bridge getting their butts kicked. You know what I mean? That's why they paint these narratives of these places, because they want you to forget the real Muslim, noble, grand history of these places. I mean, look at it. You know what I'm saying? These grand buildings built in a river bluff. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people can't do that now. You know what I mean? Like, check it out. Check it out. All built into a river bluff. Great Moorish buildings. You know what I'm saying? Now, they called this town, before it was called Selma, it was called Moor's Bluff. So that means the Moors were running this town. You know what I'm saying? For all you Moor haters. You know what I'm saying? For all you Moor haters just being up here with this anti-Moorish propaganda, as we ride around and we continue to prove that the Moors was running America, and this was old Barbary country, or it was called Morocco. You know what I'm saying? All you Moor haters, for real, man. Y'all need to play Russian roulette with yourselves and have a blast. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, man. Y'all just a bunch of lames, crybaby clowns, all in your feelings. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are up under the moles, man. Y'all have no rights that the moles will never give y'all in this land. If you don't like it, here's your deportation papers, man. Get out of Dodge. But anyway, as far as Selma, so-called Selma, if you do the knowledge on Selma, again, they want you to give you this old non-violent type of rhetoric about the history of Selma. But Selma to this day is 80% Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's 80% Mississippi, and you got grand buildings built in the riverbanks. You know what I'm saying? 80% Mississippi, 80% us here. But these are the buildings this here. You know what I'm saying? So whose town is it? So check it out. If you do the knowledge to Selma, they will tell you that during the time of the so-called Confederacy, Selma, they were building ironclad warships on the banks of the Alabama, so-called Alibamu River. Now again, they say that Selma was so-called officially incorporated or settled in 1820. Now we've done the knowledge. you know that these settlers, these so-called settlers, that these new people were just trickling in all the way up to 1860. They were not coming in large numbers to this turf right here, because even though you had the land cessions to the United States, and the United States people were able to kind of trickle in, it was still majority Muslim, and we still had that culture. So these people were not coming down here in large numbers because they were still scared. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't. I mean, they scared now. So why they wasn't coming down here among us in large numbers? You know what I'm saying? Really until after 1865. So they down here in so-called Selma building ironclad warships. You know what I mean? All through the Confederacy. They said they had a whole armory down here, manufacturing all type of carbine rifles and all type of stuff for the Confederacy. They say the so-called armory and so-called Selma or Moor's Bluff was producing the only armory in the so-called Confederate South that was producing more guns than so-called Selma was the Virginia Armory. You know what I'm saying? So that means even before settlement, down here in so-called Moor's Bluff, we've been making them things down here. We've been making our own weapons down here. Don't get it messed up. And that's why they, you know, everything they want. The Roman demonstration want to tell everything in reverse. Now they want you to associate this place with some dang on marching and praying, bowing down, getting your butt kicked on a bridge. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, so-called Selma, so-called Moor's Bluff is an old Muslim Moorish military town. You know, we've been making them things down here. You know what I'm saying? It used to be a very prosperous town in the antebellum South. And you can tell, again, it was surrounded and squeezed. And right now, it's if you walk through downtown Selma, it's great Moorish buildings. But a lot of the businesses are abandoned. You know what I'm saying? And they, again, people come, they squeeze, and they leave. And the Mississippians that's always been here are still here. That's why it's 80% Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? But they also tell you about Selma. Again, they were making warships here. They were making long guns here for naval ships. You know what I mean? They were sitting up here. What else were they doing in Selma? They'll tell you that Selma was surrounded by miles. It was surrounded on all sides by earthen mound fortifications. You know what I'm saying? Now you think, and then they'll try to say that they just built those fortifications around the time of the Civil War or whatever. Man, please, man. This Selma, again, mound fortifications. These towns were built like that. You know what I'm saying? A long time ago. The Muslims built mounds around these cities as fortifications. So who the mound builders? They said Selma was literally surrounded by earthen mound fortifications. It was real hard in the last month of the Civil War for the Union to break those fortifications and actually overrun so-called Selma. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been had the mounds, the mound builders. You know what I'm saying? So that's the real knowledge on so-called Selma, aka Moor's Bluff, on the beautiful Alibamu River. And all you goofies who's sitting up here with your entertainment, you know what I mean, going with your just doing everything under the sun except claiming your birthrights and doing what's right. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, this is what y'all abandoning. Beautiful Alibamu River, Moor's Bluff, beautiful buildings built on a bluff. How your ancestors really got down, but everybody want to talk about how they're getting their butt kicked on this bridge. Man, get out of here, man. For real, man. It's just time to keep it a buck. It's just time to keep it real, man. But anyway, we gonna mob through Selma, do a couple drops, Moor's Bluff. I'll tap back in with y'all later. Peace.